Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I'm your host, and to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Valerie Eliason. Hello, Val. How are you?
Hello, Glenn. I'm great. How are you?
You must be wiped out.
I am exhausted.
Yes.
Sleeping has not been an issue for me these past few nights with this move.
I can imagine. Moving into our beloved Rosendale.
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I got in such a welcoming from all these neighbors I've never even met before.
There you go. That's the kind of place Rosendale is. You know, they see someone new moving into the neighborhood. They make sure that you feel welcome and comfortable. I want to tell everybody we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN-TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. Davey and the great gang and great staff of BNN are in the other room answering phones, so if you want to join us, please feel free to do so. So you've been probably doing nothing much other than
moving. Yeah, it's been, so my old place, I lived on the 5th floor. There's an elevator, but I think it's the elevator from the actual Titanic because it doesn't stay open. It has that little rickety gate and then the door, and you have to wedge it open, and my gosh, it is heavy. I love it too. I'm a very nostalgic person. However, when you're moving, it is a nightmare.
Furniture and everything?
Furniture and everything. My mattress and everything. It's just, it was awful.
But your new space, is it more welcoming for you?
Oh my gosh, it's huge. It's about 3 times as big as my old
that's
space.
good. That's great.
It's great. One of my favorite things has been, since I've been unpacking, is I love collecting art from all the places that I travel.
Yeah.
So I have these great little golden wooden framed mirrors from Peru.
Oh, nice.
And I have these beautiful watercolor paintings from Amsterdam. And it was so nice because my last place was so small. I didn't get to have a lot of that art up on the wall. And this new place, so much wall space, and it's just, it feels so good to be surrounded by all this art that I've collected over the years.
And you know what you're going to love is you're going to love the Arboretum.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, you're going to make sure you get up there and enjoy that beautiful venue here. And it's not a venue, but it's a place. Harvard University takes really good care of it, and it's a, you know what an Arboretum is?
I know arbor is the word tree, essentially. Yeah. I'm not sure.
It's a specific thing. It's a collection of trees and bushes from every country, I think it is.
Oh, wow.
In the world. Off of each country.
I heard about a sort of lilac festival that they have there.
Big deal.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm really
the
looking
Arboretum's
forward to
cut
that.
into 2 places, and there's Buzzy Street that goes in between them.
Yep.
There's the Rosendale side and the Jamaica Plain. Of course, the Rosendale side is much better than the Jamaica Plain side. But sorry, JP friends. But over on the JP side, they have this beautiful compound where they have all of these beautiful lilacs, and the museum is over that end too. So it's really, really nice. Buzzy Hill is on the Rosendale side, and that's where you kind of go up and you can see these beautiful landscapes of the city and everything like that.
That's
so it's
pretty.
really, really nice.
I took Buzzy Street to get here, actually.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Very
took
cool.
Right through the Arboretum. It was a beautiful drive. A little windy. You got to be careful.
You got to be awake. Do not watch the roses as you're taking that street.
That's hard for me. Get very distracted by things.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, have you been? So you haven't got a chance to do much artfully this week.
Not too well, other than going through, I did feel a little sad that I didn't get to get out and see any great new exhibits or any new theater or anything, but it was such a treat for me to sort of re-look over this archive of art that I've collected. I mean, that felt very artful to me. It was
well, you said
really
you like collecting a piece of art from different places that you've visited. Where have you gone? I heard you mention Peru.
Yep, I went to Peru with a couple friends of mine. We stayed, one of my friends who is from Peru, we went to Machu Picchu and Cusco and Lima out there. It was wonderful. I did a little bit of, while I was in college, I did a little bit of backpacking. I went to the south of Italy to study art in Calabria, in this little tiny little town.
If you have to.
I have
Go
to.
someplace.
I know. It was wonderful though, and afterwards we backpacked. We stayed with friends and in hostels. We went to Switzerland.
Oh, you've done all of that, huh?
Yeah,
That's cool.
It was such a treat, and one of my favorite things is, I mean, the museums obviously are spectacular, but the street vendors some of the actual locals that like make their own stuff and sell it. Like that's one of my favorite things to see when I'm traveling. I love that. Even here in Boston, Newbury Street, there's always local artists selling their art there. I love that.
Yeah, there's lots of really cool things here, but it's nice that you've got that experience of traveling around.
Yeah.
We will be relying on you to make sure that we have some of our geographical facts straight.
I'll do my best.
here and there. We've been talking about you. Speaking of which, you're going to be doing a segment like we had done in the past. But I've got a message from you from our past co-host, Julia Perciasepi, who says you're doing a fantastic job.
Oh my gosh, that means so much to me. Thank you,
she
Julia.
Loves it. She loves what we're doing. She's putting together some things to send to us for her from down in Brazil where she is, and she's going to do some segments about what's happening there artfully. And
cool.
And at some point, we're actually going to try and Skype her in sometime.
That'd be great. I love Skype.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be really cool.
But she said that she was worried about me because she was leaving. But she's very happy to see that you have moved right into the program with us, and you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Julia. That means so much to me.
She's going to have some fun down there. I mean, have you ever been down to South America?
Only to Peru. I've never been to Brazil, though. Yeah.
My geography teacher would be ashamed of me. Well, you know what we're doing is I've got a little show coming up next Saturday. Actually, I'm playing a wedding on Sunday, and I'm doing a wedding on Saturday and a wedding on Sunday. And then I have a show Saturday night. So I've got to do a wedding down in Rockland.
Oh, my goodness.
Then come back, race back to do a show that I'm doing with my great guitarist friend, Andy Hollinger, who's a phenomenal guitarist. He plays jazz, he plays rock, he plays country, he plays all kinds of great stuff.
That's great.
So him and I have been trading off some things for many years now. We've been playing together. I've played on some of his stuff. He's played on almost all of my stuff. And so we're doing a little gig on Saturday night next week. And then I race right back down to Falmouth to do another wedding.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
It's a hectic weekend.
It's going to be a great weekend because there'll be lots of music and the highway deal. But Janice will be coming with me the whole time, so that's always nice. That the two of us will get a chance to, travel a little bit. And then next week we go on vacation, except for Monday. I'll be back Sunday night to do the show Monday with you. But where I was going originally, we were talking a little bit about that you're going to be starting up a segment.
Yes.
Now, we have a way of people communicating with us right away, and that's our Twitter account. You can send tweets to us, right?
Tweets,
yes. You can send tweets to us at It's All About Arts. And we're working on a name here for your segment. I love some of the ones that you've come up with.
Thank you.
We won't share them just yet, but maybe we'll let some of our BNN friends send us in a couple of tweets.
Anyone has any ideas, tweet them over to us.
And also, we have launched a new Facebook page.
Yes, I'm so excited about this.
Yes, and it's actually called It's All About Arts. Yeah, would love it if you could go there, and what's going to be on there is different photographs and different things that we've been doing here. I might even take a few photographs tonight and post them for everyone to see some of the behind the scenes here at BNN.
Yeah.
I think that that's important for people to see that we're not alone here. Believe me, we are surrounded by some fantastic interns that come in here from the different colleges, not only around Boston, but everywhere, to learn, to get like some firsthand experience on live television.
Yeah.
So we've got them here, and we've got, of course, the great Dave in the booth there pushing all the buttons and making sure everybody's in the right place and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, they're awesome. Dave is actually giving me some good ideas for my segment and maybe how to start putting it together and whatnot. It's really good to get some feedback.
He's the guy. He's been doing it here for quite a while, and we always kind of rely on him. And we aggravate him all the time, because we come in, guess what's going to happen? And he goes, Williams, I'm going to, but it's okay. He hasn't killed me yet.
You're still here.
No, just not yet is the big word. I do want to take a couple of minutes, though, to talk a little bit about our great benefactor and the first people that keep us here on the air and feed us all kinds of information. It's the Boston Main Streets program. I have, behind the scenes, been inviting the managers from the different Main Streets programs around the city to come on in and sit in with us and tell us a little bit about what's going on. That invitation is going out now on the air, so there's no excuse for you to say you haven't heard about it. I heard that from someone. Said, well, you don't know what you're talking about. No. From the top to the bottom, from the cats in town to the guys that are volunteering in the neighborhoods, we'd like to invite anybody to come on who'd like to talk about the Boston Main Streets or your local Main Streets program. Main Streets is a program that helps revitalize business districts around the city. There's 19 of them. Believe it or not, in the city, there's some boroughs have more than one because of their size, but they have a designated area where they help the property owners and the businesses to, kind of revitalize their business district and to let the people in the community know what's going on and who's there and whatnot. So it's kind of a cool thing.
It's a very cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're involved in all kinds of events and festivals around the city. Anytime you see one of these big festivals going on, there's chances are that the Main Streets organization has their finger in there somewhere. You'll get firsthand. Rosendale is the original urban Main Street. Back in '86, when our great former mayor, Tom Menino, was the city councilor for our district at that time, and he brought into Rosendale. Rosendale Square was, back in '85, '84, a really, really dangerous place to live. It was kind of a den, and there was a lot of crime and violence and a lot of empty stores and grates and all of that kind of stuff, and he wanted to help revitalize Rosendale Square, Cleary Square. They were all a mess. So what they did was he brought this program in as a trial in a urban setting, which means it's an urban setting is where people live, a neighborhood. I think the Main Streets program was more like strip malls and big malls and helping people get that kind of thing off the ground. So what they did was they said, well, let's try it. And they tried it in Rosendale Square, and it turned the whole community around. Yeah. I mean, now it's a destination. People want to go to Rosendale Square now, and people come from outside of the neighborhood. So if you'd have told me that there would be a line of people to go into a restaurant, 2 different restaurants on a Thursday night, I'd have said, you're out of your mind, that's not going to happen. But yeah, it's happening now, So it's great. It's great. So if you see anybody with a Main Street t-shirt, thank them.
Yeah, of course.
Or if you see anybody with a Main Street t-shirt, make sure you thank them for Val and I, because we really appreciate everything that they do. Yeah. Don't we?
Oh, absolutely. I love Rosendale. I haven't gotten much of a chance to explore around, but everything, since the 6 a.m. on the 15th when I started doing all my moving, I have gotten such a welcome from neighbors helping me move mattresses, to people offering advice, to what restaurants to eat at. It's such a warm feeling.
Did anyone say go down to the farmers market on Saturdays?
Actually, my neighbor across the street did say that.
Because we have one of the best farmers markets in the city. I will say that out loud and publicly because I believe it. But on Saturdays, we have live music. We have kids entertainment. There's about 6 farms that come and do that, plus foodie vendors. The great Tony's Market down in Rosy Square fills up a big chest and brings it up there for people to peruse the stuff that they have. So it's like the thing I like about it is it's not really as much a shopping thing as it is a social event. Yeah. I mean, you'll find that a lot of people come and kind of see their neighbor or kind of catch up here and there and stuff. We're up in that parking lot at the MBTA station. Now, we used to be down in Adams Park, but they're renovating Adams Park. But we hope to be back there soon, very, very soon. So, and if we do get back there, and then it's even better because now you can kind of put out a picnic and there's some live music going on over in the corner, and so it's kind of like a really cool thing.
Yeah. definitely.
Yes.
I love that. I like when it's more about a social gathering and people meeting each other and getting to know one another than sort of a like this booth sells this and this booth sells this
Yeah.
type of a thing.
I have
So,
to confess, that's a little bit what it feels like now because we're up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And it's a row of white tents and a row of white tents, and there's really no place to kind of sit and hang with your neighbors and your friends or put out a blanket or anything. But that's going to all come back as soon as we get on
yeah,
there.
soon.
And they're going to be breaking ground at the substation at the corner of Cummins Highway and Washington Street, building just like the one we're in right now. By the way, we're going to be talking quite a bit about BNN-TV in just a couple of minutes. We're very, very fortunate and happy that the general manager of the station has agreed to come on our program tonight and talk
That's
a little bit
awesome.
about BNN-TV and stuff. I do it every week, but I figured it'd be better if we heard it right from him. I mean, he's the cat that has made this what it is. And but a building just like this one is down there in Rosendale Square, and it's being renovated into a big, huge restaurant and some
so cool.
living. Yeah. So Rosendale's moving right along. So thank you, Main Streets, for all the stuff that you do for us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll leave the BNN talk to when we get the great Mr. Henderson in here. But listen, gang, we are going to take a break. Was there anything you wanted to add? How's the wabbit?
Oh, he's great.
Is he okay with the move?
You know, he's doing really well with the move so far. He's got his own little space. We have a nice big walk-in pantry.
I want to. I'm not. Klaus.
There you go.
Ta-da!
You know, after the show last week, he was telling me he was a little irritated you called him Angus.
I'm sorry, Klaus.
He said it himself. He goes, I'm not a cow,
I'm not
Glenn.
Klaus it is.
He's doing
because
great,
of
though.
where kind of rabbit he is.
Exactly, a Flemish giant.
Giant.
Giant, Flemish.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad he's going to adapt and be okay.
Oh yeah, he's doing really great. He likes the area.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break and get Mr. Henderson up here and talk
All
with
right.
him, okay? Listen, gang, you are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I am your host, and to my right, of course, is Valerie Eliason, who's our new co-host and extraordinaire. Glad to have her here with us. I've gotten some really great emails from out there from some of you people saying that you like Val, and I do too. It's going to be good, I think. We're going to enjoy ourselves. And listen, we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Please do not go away. We'll be right back.
Didn't I see you standing over there just the other afternoon? Hidden by shadows, waiting for a man, hidden from the sun. For a man that never comes, like a race that's never run. As the road widens, and it almost always will, you look upon this day. The outlook will broaden as you find it was in you, growing from a place with a bright and happy face, better trained to run that race. Answers never heard, feeling so absurd, empty, lost, confused, and blue. Phone calls not returned, lost and so concerned. How to cope? Old friends will pull you like a race that's never run, like a bell that's never rung, like a song that's never sung.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. We really appreciate it. My name is Glenn. You're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts, and we're coming to you live from BNN Studio B. And you're more than welcome to join us. We're at 617-708-3290. One of the things I forgot to mention is that this show will be on YouTube tomorrow, right about this time. So if you'd like to see our show, you can go to your YouTube station, put in It's All About Arts, the number 1, and that'll get you right to all of the shows that we've been doing here at BNN. You can watch them anytime you'd like. And if you can let me know what we're doing right and wrong. You can, give us a little critique there. It'd be nice to hear from you. And usually on my program, I usually talk a little bit about this great building we're in, but I thought that this week it might be a lot of fun to bring in the cat who's really in charge here, who's made BNN-TV what it is today, from a small closet in a transportation building downtown to this state-of-the-art facility here that's the envy of most, if not all, cable access stations around the country. It's my great pleasure and honor to bring to the set tonight my good friend Curtis Henderson. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Glenn.
Thank you
so
for
much.
being here. You are the general manager of
Thank you for having me.
of BNN-TV, right?
I am.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it. One of the things that is so exciting, well, first what I'd like to do is, if we could, get in the kind of Wayback Machine and tell us a little bit of history about BNN-TV. Tell us a little bit about what is BNN-TV?
Well, you mentioned about the State Transportation Building. I just want to add to that we were in many small office spaces over the years, teaching people how to make television in spaces that had 8-foot ceilings, and calling them studios, those kinds of things. Those are the days that I remember most, because we were really trying to move BNN forward, teach people how to make content, have people produce content. So we have come a long way, especially now that we've moved here into the Charles Beard Media Center.
At 3025
Washington Street,
right.
In Eggleston Square.
Eggleston Square.
Right. Got to have it all in there.
Absolutely. Yeah. What is the mission? Has the mission changed over the years? What is I know that years and years ago, it was something that was kind of mandated by the government. They said, we got to give the people a voice. We have to give people an opportunity to be able to express themselves freely, and the best idea in the world was to provide them with a station to do that. Is that kind of still the message here?
That is still the message, and it's more important now than ever, because there's still a digital divide. Now that the technology has advanced to where it is now, with everything is done on a computer basically, your cameras are computers, you take a chip out of the camera, you put it into a computer to upload your material. It's just changed, from where it used to be in terms of using tape and analog technology. And if you're not in that space, no matter what you do in life, you're part of the other side of the digital divide.
You are. Yeah.
And, it's just happening more and more. I just went shopping recently for a refrigerator. Our refrigerator broke, so me and my wife went shopping. So even the guy at the appliance store has to have that computer understanding and savvy, because everything that they do now is online. Right. So it just goes to show, there you go, you're sitting here with your iPad.
Right, exactly.
So like, if you're not part of that technology revolution, you're on the other side of the divide. So it's more important now for facilities like ours to exist, to offer these tools and training for people who don't have access.
Right.
A lot of people don't have internet.
No, they don't. You're right.
So when everything is gone to the computer or the internet, some people are left behind because they don't have access.
Some of us who've been doing it and kind of take for granted that it's something that's part of our lives. But you're so right. There is a distinct percentage of citizens that don't have the luxury that we do have. But one of the things that's available here at this amazing facility is Timothy Smith. Is an organization that provides technology and computers in this segment of this part of the city.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? Now you have got one of the best state-of-the-art labs right here at BNN. What goes on in that facility downstairs?
That's where the training for editing happens. We've upgraded to Final Cut 10. I think this fall we're going to be teaching Final Cut 10. I even think we're going to be teaching Premiere, because a lot of folks don't have access to the Apple platform.
Right.
So
right.
Premiere you can use on a PC computer or even on your phone, etc.
Yeah.
The Adobe suite, the full Adobe suite, which is Adobe 6 or 6, I believe, will have that as a tool for people to use, and that's where you can learn all your sort of arts sort of applications, your graphics, your opening, your titles for your shows. All those things are done with using Adobe Photoshop. So those are the kinds of things that we teach in the Media Lab. By the way, we are upgrading. We have these 12-core Macs now, towers that we use, and so we're upgrading actually to the Mac G3 or not G3.
That's old news.
Yes, old news. I know. But we're upgrading to the new Macs.
Yep.
That are one, all in
one big unit. Yeah.
Yeah, the monitor and everything is
That's
in
nice.
one unit.
That's nice.
So a lot of the colleges and universities have gone that way, and we looked into it, did some research, and
Good.
we're going to go in that direction as well.
Excellent. Now, one of the things that I boast about here is that there are actually 2 studios here that have 2 distinct functions. This one is kind of like news and information. You're watching Channel 9 right now on Comcast or 15 on RCN. But what you do here is this is the kind of nonprofit side of things, where people can come in and kind of get their mission statement. I'm not as familiar with Studio A because I kind of generated my little career here over here. Tell me a little bit about what that is. That's membership driven on the Studio A side?
Well, all of it is really membership. You have to be a member to use the facilities. However, in Studio A, it's more of a free-form type studio because many people have many different ideas about the kinds of things that they want to do.
Right.
And Studio A allows people to come in with an idea. They do a proposal. The proposal is either approved or denied. Most of the time they're approved, and people move forward with doing the kinds of programming that they want to do.
Right.
We have things from programs from fashion shows
Yeah.
to arts, dance, music, acting, skits, and a lot of different ideas.
And also social issues as well.
Exactly.
I mean, there are people that have guests that come in and talk about today, about what's going on in their community today. And I think it's fascinating. People get to sign out this beautiful equipment, go and kind of shoot what's happening in their community, come back and edit it downstairs, and you cats put it on TV. I think that's just phenomenal.
So that's the mission. I mean, that's what we are here for. That's what we've been here for all these years, almost 30.
I was going to say, we've been doing it how long now?
30 years. You need to get your buttons. 30 years we've been around, and we have this fantastic event planned for September 13th, which is our block party,
Yes.
BNN-TV block party, 30 years that we've been producing content here in the city of Boston.
That's
And
fascinating.
doing training for residents as well as nonprofits.
Block party. You're actually going to close down one of the streets around here?
We're closing down Bray Street, which is right across the street there from between BNN and Walgreens. Closing down the street. We will have summer fun and activities for young people. We will have a stage with youth performers. We've got
Excellent.
kids coming from dance organizations in the city.
From all over the city,
All
right?
over the city,
That's
yeah.
fascinating. That's great.
From Zoomix to we've got the Hyde Square Task Force. They have young people who will be coming in and doing some music. And
That's
so
great.
we've got the Berkeley School of Music.
That's
has some
great.
young kids coming in to open the day, and they'll close the day.
Some live music.
Yeah, live music.
Gotta
There
have
you go.
live
Yeah,
music.
gotta have live music.
One of the
So I'm looking forward to it.
One of the things you might not know about my friend Curtis Henderson here is that he's an old jazz singer as well, and we've shared CDs. We haven't shared the
Well,
studio yet.
We've shared a studio.
Do you
We've
think-
worked on a couple of things
Yes,
together, but
yeah.
my time, I think, and your time, just didn't work that time we tried to do that project, but I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to.
So I
to
know
doing
there'll
a
be
project
live
with
music
you.
if Mr. Henderson is involved.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about the future. What are we looking at here for BNN? I know that just because anybody can do this in their cellar or their bedroom almost and get it on YouTube. What's the difference between putting it on YouTube and being on BNN?
Well, BNN is, again, a lot of people don't have access.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
most people have a television.
Right.
And I think in the city there is for seniors and others, low-cost access to cable TV.
Yeah.
So it affords people who don't have the computers and YouTube and the internet to be able to watch local content. We have one of our stellar programs is the Neighborhood Network News,
Yes.
which has been around for 30 years.
Yes.
And that is the only place where you really get really local news and information about the communities in the city of Boston.
That's great.
So for us, that's really important that people have access to that kind of information.
Now, if someone wants to become a member here at BNN, at Boston Neighborhood Network, can I be from Charlestown? Can I be from
Anywhere in the city.
Anywhere in the city?
Anywhere in the city of Boston. Membership is there for people who live in the city of Boston. So there are 21 or so neighborhoods in the city,
Right.
and everyone from Charlestown to West Roxbury has access to become a BNN member and produce content and take training.
That's great. Tell us the date again for this.
September 13, 12 to 4 p.m., right here on Bray Street, the street between Walgreens and BNN-TV. And so we'll have that event on the 13th from 12 to 4. It's also, we had our first ad it's a column, I guess, in the city paper.
I heard
Boston City
about this.
paper.
This is a big deal. You're going to be every week or
Every
something?
week, every week.
You're going to have a column in the paper?
in the city paper, right. I've actually been talking to some of the other newspapers as well.
Good.
To see if we can get some kind of a barter situation from them in terms
Well,
of...
I think BNN's a big deal, and I think we should, people should know about it.
Well, promotion is one of the ways that you inform people and let them know what's going on.
Right.
Unfortunately, for a lot of small nonprofits and others, it's costly.
Yes,
So
it is.
you need to try to work deals with the newspapers, and they'll help you get your word out and get the information out about your programs.
Well, 30 years is something to be very proud of, and there were some great access people that came before you and that kind of set the way for us to go. And my involvement here. I love this place, and I always enjoy coming in and seeing what's going on. And I watch the station all the time.
You're a great example of what access is about, Glenn. Really, I mean, you've used it well. For music, for art.
Yep.
You're part of the Main Streets program, so now representing them on the channels,
Yep.
It's just fantastic.
Well,
phenomenal.
that's the thing to do.
Exactly, yeah. And we have a few other groups who have used access really well. I think our Telecreo folks who
Yes.
have started 28 years ago and they're still going strong.
That's great.
Giving information to their community about what's going on in Haiti and what's
Yeah.
happening in the Haitian community.
Yeah.
Where else can you get that kind of?
You can only get it here.
Right.
I was at
It's a
the
great-
table when we came up with that.
Great tagline. Yeah,
Curtis,
yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much for taking a couple minutes out of your incredibly busy day. Give us the date again. Is
September 13th.
September 13th. Now, if you go to www.bnntv.org and click on what's happening right now, you'll see Curtis and I sitting here. But that's another cool thing that we do is we stream live
Exactly.
all over the
Yeah,
world.
exactly.
So that, and believe it or not, we do have people that watch it.
We do.
That I get emails from people from all different parts of the United States.
Again, a lot of the ethnic groups and others that come from other countries are able to share the information that they're generating here
Right.
in the countries that they're from. So that's
And one of the things we're going to be doing very soon is we're going to be Skyping from Brazil. So we have a correspondent now down in Rio.
That's great. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You know, you're a pioneer here, so keep up the good work.
Curtis, thank you so much for coming in and spending a
you.
couple of minutes for us. I know
Thank
how
you.
busy you are. For you to take a couple of minutes out of a Monday is I appreciate you coming in and
Well,
spending some
Glenn,
time with us.
I couldn't say no, so here I am. Thank you very much
Thank you
for
very
your time and your energy and
Thank
what
you.
you've given back as well.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Curtis.
it.
I
Yep.
appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Listen, gang, we're going to take a quick break. We do have an artist on tonight, not just a great artist and community leader, but we've also got a great visual artist on who's going to be coming on and talking a little bit about the work that she does. Collage. It's really, really exciting. We've got some pieces to look at. We've got an example and everything. Listen, gang, hang in there. You're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. We'll be back in just a minute. Please don't go away. Thank you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Different view, dream come true. Bolts of lightning from the blue. It's upside down, it turns around. Still this rock and roll fits you. Feel good time. A friend of mine is giving eyesight to the blind. Electric wires, they never tie. They echo from a distant time. Things I see on my TV, the death throes of society. I lost my soul to rock and roll. This rock and roll will set you free. Rock and roll.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. I do want to remind everybody again that if you want to send us a tweet on your Twitter account, right? Yeah. If you want to send us a tweet, tell us what we're doing and how we're doing, and if you'd like any questions or you have any suggestions for the show, please do that at It's All About Arts. And this show will be on this time tomorrow night on our YouTube station. So if you go to your YouTube station and put in It's All About Arts and the number 1, you can get right to us. And we also have launched a Facebook page. Yes, we are joining Facebook here at It's All About Arts. And the name of the page is It's All About Arts with Glenn and Valerie. So why don't you go there, check out our page, and like us, please, because then you'll get all the inside information about what's going on here at BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. Right now, it's my great, great pleasure and honor, actually, pleased to introduce you to Monika Hasan. Hello, Monika. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much,
Thank you for
Glenn.
coming in and spending some time with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Val, for having me.
Of course.
This is so great.
If you had to categorize yourself as an artist, what would you use? That one word.
The one word is collage.
You're a collagist.
I am definitely a collage artist.
Okay. And now, a collage artist? When somebody asks me what a collage is, I kind of say to them, it's a bunch of small, beautiful things put together to make one beautiful thing. Is that a kind of a clear?
That's a really nice way of putting it, actually. Well, thank you. If I'm in that category, I appreciate that. Yes.
Well, I think that's what it is. Talk about your method and what you do.
It really is. It actually came to me. I was actually working with disenfranchised and disabled adults in the community. I was a housing advocate. Had a bad day, one of those bad days at work. I actually, maybe because I'm a little passive aggressive, who knows, I actually began drawing at my desk as opposed to going out and, ripping and running and going crazy. I just needed an outlet.
Yep.
And so I began drawing. And I unfortunately, with the materials that I had, I couldn't find a good sharp line. So I started cutting paper to kind of get the form I wanted. I was trying to do the form of a woman. And I couldn't get what I wanted, so I started cutting, and I was like, wait a second. I kind of like that. So then I began cutting more and more and more. And so my work has evolved. I'm a self-taught artist. And I don't draw anything beforehand. I literally just start playing with paper.
So it's an adventure from the beginning for you.
It really is.
Yeah,
it
that's
really
great.
is. And we fight.
I'm
Just
sure
so
you
you
do.
know, we have fights. I'll sit back with a glass of wine and say, I don't think that's where we're supposed to go. The art always wins, each and every time.
Now, are you primarily working with paper, or are there other materials as well that you'll work into your
I work
pieces?
a lot of pieces will have other materials, but it is primarily paper. So I will go to really exclusive places. I go online. I'll pick up Japanese paper. I'll find beautiful Indian paper. All types that I play with. It all started with paper that I had around the house, and then it had to evolve a little bit more because, you get satiated, so you want that new fix.
Yeah.
So I need to get bigger and better paper that I could play with.
You must be known at the paper source. Then.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. It's yeah.
My wife's a collagist too, and she
Okay.
gets paper from everywhere.
It's
and
beautiful.
I can't get her out of there.
It's beautiful. Yeah, no, that's a bad place to go to without a lot of extra money and a lot of time. Because you can sit there looking at two different pieces going, I don't know. I've spent $20, $30 on a sheet of paper before.
Yeah, I'm sure you
because
have.
it's just that gorgeous. And what do? How do you walk away from that?
You don't. Do you have a dedicated space to work in?
I do. I actually have a studio in my home in
Nice,
Randolph,
nice,
and
nice.
I've actually worked up to that point. At first, I was doing this on my kitchen table.
Yep, kitchen table.
And it started there, and it's evolved over the last 8.5 years, where it's turned into my full-time work that I do now.
Congratulations, that's great.
Thank
You're the
you.
envy of a lot of artists out there.
It's the best fight I've ever had in my life.
Well, sometimes it's warm in here, and
That's why there's a collage artist right here for you.
Yeah.
this is beautiful. Talk to me a little bit about this. Maybe you can use my camera to get
And
a
see,
piece,
that
get a
is
look at this.
I love the sort of basket weaving that's going on in this piece with the iridescence and
Exactly.
it's beautiful.
And it was such amazing paper that I found. Like, that paper actually has woven paper in it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's
then
got an amazing pattern on it,
Yeah.
too.
And then the other one had amazing pattern. And I actually began just by cutting that curve, and I kept cutting, and it just wasn't enough. That paper
look how it
here.
looks. It looks beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, yeah.
This paper here with the circles in it, I actually had had it on my drafting table for over a year. And it sat there until it was time to do something with it. And that's the beauty of when you work with art, is that it tells you when it's time. There's no beginning, there's no ending unless it's time for it.
I love that feeling when you find something and you know it's not quite time to use it yet,
Right.
but you know you're going to use it in the future. So you put it
Exactly.
aside and you're like, not yet.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I have to, work that fine line, as I'm sure
Yeah.
you do, with not being a hoarder when it comes
Very
to paper.
difficult to not be a hoarder when you work with collage.
Exactly, because you never know when
Collage
that
is not
piece.
called hoarded.
No, but it's such a fine line, no, because you never know
all
when
these
that one
papers.
piece will be like, ooh.
Things are falling over on top of you and maybe the bigger space.
If you
that's
can't
all.
get out. that's rule number one,
Now,
be able to get out.
Do you use Mod Podge or do you use any kind of affixant sometime to put the pieces together? Or
Have
you just,
to.
Yeah.
Definitely acid-free. Mod Podge I haven't worked with. It's a little bit thicker than I like.
Yeah.
But I actually don't know the name of it, but my printer, who is absolutely amazing, out of Quincy,
Yeah.
he, over at Signal Graphics, he actually said, well, try this because I know how you are, and I've had him for years. And he just sort of said, try this and see if you like it, because initially I was using tape on the back. I was so new and so self-taught that I had no idea what I was doing. So
On that vein, was there any artful things in your background before? I mean, were you a jazz singer or a bass player or something, or a painter or anything?
I personally wasn't, but my grandmother was.
Okay, then there. Okay,
Yeah, my
sure.
grandmother did ceramics, and she was a gardener, which I consider another
Yes,
form
it
of
is.
art.
Sure it is.
And I think because of working with the adults that I worked with, I also worked in group homes. I was a house manager for kids with disabilities.
Okay.
And learning how to teach them in unique ways made me realize that art isn't everything that you do. I mean, stockbrokers are artists. I am not going in that mosh pit. I'm not going
Unless
to do
you're
it, but
trained.
there's a dance that goes along
Yep.
with what they do. And so it's
Absolutely.
just respecting the art for what it is and recognizing this is my wheelhouse, that's yours.
You know, for years I always took, it's a horrible word, offense at people who would say the art of brokerage, the art of this, the art of that. And I'd say, well, I said, boy, that's not really art. But what they're saying is they're saying it takes
Yeah.
a certain kind of mentality and
Exactly.
discipline to
Right.
be able to do that.
It's
and
a
the only
feel.
way they can compare it is to people like us who are artists.
Exactly, so you want to be us.
They want to be just like us.
And who doesn't want to be able to just sort of create out of thin air and somehow have other people, I'm still amazed when other people see my work and say, that's beautiful. Like, how amazing is that to have someone look at what's in your head and say they like it? That's a little
Yeah.
scary, but can
Well,
you imagine?
I also believe and thoroughly say that when you hold this up to anybody in the world, they get an impression. They have something, regardless of the language they speak, regardless of the culture they've been grown up in. They are impressed or touched by something that you show them,
Yeah.
that you've made. So it's truly the international language, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's my take on it, anyways. We've got some pieces to look at. Right,
Okay,
we've
yes.
got some images to look at. Why don't we go through some images and you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at as we go through.
This one is Rebecca, and that one is a piece that I did back in this last year. And it actually is the profile of a woman that I know named Rebecca. And so this is part of my tribute series that I do, where I take the profile of the person and then I just sort of, again, I ask when people ask me to do custom work for them, let me do my process, let me kind of play and vibe, and let me do what I do. So it was really more about just her being centered amongst chaos.
Is this paper on paper?
It's paper, wood, a little bit of cork board that I found.
wow.
Now, what
Yeah,
parts
all
are
her hair.
wood?
It's pieces of her hair.
That's gorgeous.
Pieces like that piece right on the top there, that's actually a piece of wood. There's other papers, and then also once I get the
Thank you,
paper
Davey.
and pull it all together, I also paint it on some of the pieces as well.
Nice.
So
That's
that
gorgeous.
it's not just the paper, but it expands. The beauty that you don't see there, but you would see in an original, is that there are so many layers that the hair actually kind of puffs out a little bit.
Yeah, the photographs really
Right.
don't do us justice. Let's look at a couple more and then you can tell us where people can get.
This is my I Help Myself, which is a piece about a woman who's turned her back to drama and stress, and that's why the hair is being blown forward. And she's just taking a moment for herself. And then
cool.
she can turn around and deal with the rest of the world again in a minute, but
Yeah.
she's just
We all need
helping
that.
herself for a second.
Yeah.
And this is the teacher, I believe, and that one, or Professor
Love
Hip.
those colors.
And that was done with a lot of deep purples, and actually the deep purple of her neckline was actually a shirt that I had. We won't talk about that. But it was a shirt that I had to cut up because that's what was vibing with me at that time. And she is the teacher in my life. She's the teacher who at some point in my life, someone taught me to just let go and be free. And so that's why she has kind of a hippie vibe to her. And with all of these, it really is, she kind of evolved and became this, and I look back and her name came to me after she was done. This is Fathers Matter, which is one of the simplest pieces I did because it's only 3 pieces of wood. And it's cut to make the form of, and it can be interpreted in a few different ways, a father and his 2 sons, the 3 generations of man as he goes from a child to adult, or 3 generations in the same family, son, father, and then
That's what I saw
grandfather.
right away.
Okay.
I saw the grandfather, the father, and the son.
Right, and what it is actually a friend of mine who does a Father's Day rally in Framingham every year. Basically, this is an ode to how important fathers are in their children's lives.
Yes.
And how simple it is, but how important it is at the same time.
I love this piece so much. I love that you use 3 different shades or stains of wood in it. I love it.
Thank you.
It's almost like a logo or something that can represent an idea that's so powerful of the fathers being so important in
It
there.
was amazing how simple the wood was. Sometimes you get some amazing pieces of either paper or wood, and your job is to just stay back off. Don't try to push it.
It's
Don't try
hard,
to turn it
yeah.
into. And that wood is exactly how I found it. I literally did an acrylic glaze over the top, clear. Those are the colors that were there. So I was just lucky enough to work with amazing materials.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look at 1 or 2 more.
This is me. This is
But of course.
this is one of the first pieces I did. It's actually all done in oil-based pastel, oil pastel and a little bit of paint. One of the few ones that are all that. And it really was my version of my best self at the time and who I was and what I was. And my father stole it. It's now in his office. And he had to have the first piece. And I'm just so blessed that my family has been so great with me.
Is there a website people can go to check out a lot of your work?
Absolutely. I'm at mybestself.org.
Okay.
I'm also on Facebook under my name, Monika Hasan.
Okay.
And I also show work all over Boston. I'll be at the Liberty Hotel tomorrow.
I was at the Liberty a couple of weeks ago.
That was,
It was great. It's a great place.
Isn't
You're gonna
it?
love it. Yeah,
I
it's
know.
nice
I
to
mean,
show.
old architecture, the old Charles Street Jail.
Beautiful place.
I
You come
can't
up the
wait.
escalator and there you are. It's like
Oh,
really
my
kind of
God.
cool.
Oh, see, I'm so excited.
You're
You
gonna
got
dig
to
it.
see the inside of it yet?
No, I'm actually waiting
such a
until
good
tomorrow.
surprise.
But can you imagine, like, holding on to history is so, that's a whole nother
So we're going to
segment.
link your website up to our Facebook page.
Yes,
And
please
can I
do.
put up some of your images on
I
our
would
Facebook
love
page?
to.
Yes, because like I said, we've just developed this new Facebook page.
Yes, and I'm going to like your Facebook page.
Thank you. Really good.
Absolutely.
Monika, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us.
Thank you so much.
Do you have a show coming up at all?
Well, just
the
tomorrow.
Liberty. Tomorrow
Just
at the
tomorrow.
Liberty.
I'm also doing Roxbury Open Studio. I do
Oh,
that every
excellent.
year.
That's good.
I have several shows. I go down to D.C. and Connecticut, and I'm all over the place.
Well, let us know so we can let people know where they can come and see
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much for
much.
being with us. I really do appreciate it.
I'm so glad to be here.
Val,
Thank
nice
you so
show.
much.
Thank you.
Nice show, Valerie. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here with us.
This was a great show.
It was a good show. I think we had a lot
2
of fun
amazing
today.
people on
Yep.
it. Couldn't have asked for a better show.
Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. We appreciate it. Listen, go out and do something artful for yourself this week, please. And like I like to say every week, please, keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please, do something artful, do it for them. We will see you next week. Thank you, gang. Bye-bye.